G'day, John. Thanks for taking the time out today to speak to us. Had a few questions come in from the Den members because a few people knew that we were going to catch up with you today. But just like to hear from yourself, how did you end up becoming a bear? How did that happen?
I tell you what, I never expected to be playing rugby league in actual fact, because I was a rah-rah player in the Midlands, and I was earning very little as a school teacher at the time, and I got this offer to play for Wigan when I was in 1972, and I mulled it for a fair time, and then I thought, I've got to take this, because it actually nearly bought me a house.
Oh yeah.
And a car, and I thought, I'm perhaps not going to get that sort of money and the opportunity as a school teacher.
Was Wigan a powerhouse back then?
Wigan was mid-table.
Okay.
They were mid-table. They were always considered a strong club, as you would know, but they were going through a sort of a bit of a struggle time, and they were just in the top half of the table rather than at the top.
Yeah.
They offered me this money, as I said, and I said, I've got to do it. I've got to go.
Awesome. And how'd you find it, like coming from Coventry to head up north? Were they looking down their nose at you a bit? Or was
they
like the
weren't
fans and all that?
No, they weren't too bad, to tell you the truth. One problem I did have was in school with the kids was understanding what they were saying.
Were you teaching then too? Were you?
I was teaching then too.
Oh yeah.
Because that's what everybody did at the time. They were in Australia, of course. You got a daytime job, and you got your football, and it was great fun. The kids loved their football. I never knew anybody who was boys who were so passionate. Didn't get that in Coventry, where I came from.
And you said you couldn't understand them. No.
Couldn't understand them. I kept saying to them, I beg your pardon, please, what did you say? And they try and make their
accent more
thicker,
rougher.
little buggers they were.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. So you went up there, and then you made the British Lions team or something like that, or the.
Well, I did. I was very fortunate, but all I knew what to do as far as when I was playing rugby league is hook for the ball, and I learnt that pretty quickly, because it was I thought it was fun. The way they used to strike and cheat, and
we're using your hands and stuff and everything. Any means?
Using everything you could.
Yeah.
Your legs, you turn your body. Mind you, you're still just like in the good days at Norse, when we always had the big props. Billy Hamilton and Donny. And
just hang it off them.
Yeah, because if you didn't have them, you were getting pushed back, or you didn't have somebody who could use their feet a bit. You never won the scrums.
Yeah.
And so the clubs who had the smaller props never went anywhere.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so you end up signing and becoming a hooker, and you learnt the ropes. And what happened after that? So you got into a few representative teams and stuff.
Yes, it was Lancashire. I played with Lancashire. I actually only started playing in August, and then my first game for Great Britain was 6 months later, in the following January. So I
rise to stardom.
Oh yeah, I know, and I never really understood it. I mean, I was okay in the scrums, and all I would do is tackle. And
who did you play against in that Test series?
That was against France.
Oh, okay, yeah. Were they dirty?
No, they weren't too bad actually.
No, right.
And in the first game, I got a try as well. And
so you become a hero.
Yeah, I was. Everything was going well for me, and then getting picked on the Great Britain tour. I mean, that was the following Easter. It was, couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And that was the last tour that of 3 months, and there was 2 months in Australia and one in New Zealand.
And what star players that were in that touring squad with you?
Well, you probably wouldn't know a lot of those. There was
Oh, we've got some members here that would know. But
well, Jim Mills was playing with us.
he's a member on the Den. G'day, Jim.
Ah, is he?
Yeah, he's
fabulous.
and he does some good stuff on the Den. So there you go.
Yeah.
You got to mention, mate.
He was a great fellow, Jim, and we had a lot of respect for him. If you didn't, he used to get slapped on. He was the biggest bloke on the tour as well.
And he became a bear.
Oh, yeah, of course he was a bear. He'd
Yeah.
previously been a bear, and you know, I was really pleased because I mean, Jim had a great reputation at Norse when I got here, and he was my prop, and he was
Laid the foundation for you.
Yeah, he was tough as teak. You know, he was terrific. There was
Oh, good.
Colin Dixon and George Nichols and Roger Millwood.
Roger the Dodger.
Yeah, Roger the Dodger, and we had Chris Hesketh who was a centre. We had good, steady players, great players. Not many actually outstanding, but we had a good, solid team. I mean, the tests were very close. We against Australia, we lost the Test series 2-1, but it was like 12-6. We lost in Brisbane. Then we won 14.
Did you start in the first test?
No, I didn't start, but I played.
Oh, okay.
Because then it was the days where you had the two subs.
Yeah.
So I was a sub.
And then because I think I
I
remember
got
something,
on,
and you
played
came on and you become their goal kicker or something, and
Yeah.
your automatic selection for the next
Yeah. And as it turned out, then I played the second test and third test.
Yeah.
And they were both very close. It was six, we won 16-11 in the second test, and then we lost 22-18 in the third test.
I've seen some of the footage of that around the place on YouTube or something like that, and of you kicking long distance goals and stuff like that, and keeping them in the game and all that.
It was a funny aspect of that in that second and third test, because people had taken bets with each other that I would miss the kicks.
Yeah.
And what happened was that I never missed one.
Mm-hmm.
So they were all double and quitting each other. And at the end of the game, when we came out of the change room, there were people there queuing up to try and give me $5 and $10 notes. You know, here's something, here's your part, this is how much you won for me.
Happy
and so
days.
forth. Yeah.
Oh, good stuff.
Well, I said, no, I don't want any of your money, you had the bets, you know, good luck to you. And they said, no, we were so thrilled and that you got them all, and I got the money off him.
So you were embraced by the Aussie crowd basically from day one.
Yeah, they were really good, and of course they hadn't seen the round the corner style.
No.
So they were just bemused how it all happened as well.
Yeah.
The one good thing was that we were playing on dry tracks as well.
Yeah.
So it was a dry ball.
Dry hard. Yeah.
The leather ball was beautiful to kick if it was dry.
Yeah. Big sweet spot for it too.
Exactly. So it was great for an aim, because it was quite a heavy ball as such. Yeah. And you struck it. If you struck it right, it went right.
And in those test series, was it pretty violent as well? Because all those test matches back then were pretty helter skelter.
Well, yeah. I mean, you'd go to Arthur Beats, and he used to lead the punchos, and in actual fact, it was. Because Arthur was so much bigger than most of the others, we used to give it to the rest of the pack instead of Arthur, because he was too. Yeah. if we were going to leave two to have a scrap, anybody scrap out with Arthur, it was Big Jim Mills. Jimmy, Arthur's yours.
Nice one. So was it on that tour where people approach you from North to say, do you want to fancy coming and playing for us at all?
They did just before we left to go to New Zealand.
Yeah.
They came and had a chat with me. That was a couple of the players.
Yeah.
And they said, "Have you got any interest in coming over?" I said, "Well, certainly. No reason why not." And got back to England, and then had a phone call after I'd been back a week. From a solicitor who was in London, and he called me and said, "I'm calling on behalf of North Sydney Bears, I've got been given a contract to see if you will consider, and you know, also, you know, I'll need to come and see your club and see whether they'll release me as well. And
was that winter time over there? When you got that? Would have been.
No, it was got back at the in summer, end of summer.
Okay, because what I was thinking, you probably looked at it and gone, oh, Jesus, shit weather here. I'm going to Australia or something like that.
Yeah, I know, but of course we were here in winter,
Yeah.
as it was, and I knew what winter was like here,
Yeah.
so it's not a bad place
This
for
is
winter.
all right, isn't it?
So yes.
And you wouldn't have known much about North Sydney back then anyway. You would have gone, who are
No.
they? What are they
No.
about? What's?
I knew they had got, you know, 3 or 4 top players, and it's quite funny, they all left when I came.
Oh,
They were all
right.
gone, they were all pinched.
Oh.
There was Keith Harris.
Oh yeah, he's on the Den side too. There you go, Keith. You got to mention.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he's with us. Yeah.
Yeah, oh good. Crash, he went off
To Canterbury.
to Canterbury,
Tim Pickup.
and Tim Pickup went off to Canterbury.
Yeah.
And they had the halfback who went to Balmain.
Yeah. Ah.
Can't think of his name. You'll have to put that. I'm trying to think. It was.
Yeah. The guys will know. The guys will know. Someone put it in the comments for us, please. That's all right. We'll think of it. It's all good. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and suddenly it wasn't quite the same team who'd come 4th, I think, on the table, 4th or 5th on the table. This is what I've been told. So they were a club.
Yeah.
that
On the
was
rise.
building. Yeah.
Well, so they didn't come to you and say, "Oh, look, you know, we made the semi-finals, or we're a gun side, or this, that."
No.
Come and sign. They didn't
No.
tell you any fibs or anything.
No. So of course, when I came over here, and you know, it wasn't quite the same side as it had been the year
Yeah.
before. But you know, I mean, that was I didn't worry about that. There was Noel Kelly there, who I had a lot of respect for. He picked me up from the airport I arrived on Good Friday,
Yeah.
and Ned picked me up, and we went straight to the Leagues Club. And of course, everything in those days was closed. Good
Yeah.
Friday, everything
Yeah.
was closed,
Yeah.
except North Leagues Club, because a couple of the directors had got keys to go down to the boardroom, and in the boardroom was a little bar that was
Open it up and said, "Help yourself."
Yeah.
As like the world's
Well,
best mini bar, right?
I just had a couple of beers, that was all, and that was enough for me. And I stayed just by the club up the road, the San Miguel,
Yeah.
which was a big pub.
Yeah. And
At the time,
and by the sound, because
Cabaret.
I've got the newspaper article from when you made your debut, and it sounds like you got some pretty good coin to join, like 50 grand back in like 1975. That's a fortune now. You know.
Yeah.
So you know you did well. And Norse did well to cough up too.
Yes, I know, it was
It was a big risk, you know,
yeah.
to do something.
I had actually had, you wouldn't believe it, East had come to get me before. Before Norse did, and there were 2 people who came over from East to try and get me, and that was who actually jumped on a plane. One was Arthur Beetson,
All right.
and coach Jack Gibson.
Wow.
They actually came over, and what had happened is that Wigan had put such a high figure on me that they said no.
Ah. But Norse.
But they
Paid
did. But Norse, when they brought the price down when Norse came, because they were they were being ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, but I was happy to come, but
Yeah.
you know, it was.
And did you think it was going to be forever? Did you think, oh, I'll just go out and play a season or 2 and then I'll come back home? Or
Well,
did you see it as a long-term thing and say, right, decisions are going to be made, I'm going to make the most of it? Or
You're right, I didn't know at the time. I thought I'd come and play for 3 years.
Yeah.
Then I'd be a free agent, and I'd probably go back to the UK. And the transfer fee that you would normally get between 2 clubs in the UK, I would pick that up.
Yes.
So That's what I thought would happen.
Yeah.
But in all truthfulness, after 3 years here, then I got an offer from Manly.
Oh, we'll edit that part out. Thank you. We can't say that word. Sorry.
There were other opportunities with other clubs, and I was enjoying myself here.
Yeah.
I was at a school. I was at the Maris Brothers at North Sydney, and having a great time with the school and the brothers there, plus all the kids who were fantastic boys, and I was happy to stay for another period of time.
Good on
Yeah, because it was and I liked Australia. People are good.
Mate, you're on the best side of the harbour anyway, for sure, eh? And look,
I never moved.
No, look, I'll have to show people the view from here, and when we finish. But mate, I'll leave it there. We'll come back. We'll have a bit of a break. We'll come back. We'll talk a bit about a bit further on down the track, like the Amco Cup 76 and Wills Cup Final 77, 78 Challenge Cup. Our could have been the glory years, but we'll come back and we'll have a yak about that stuff soon. All right, mate.